All right. Well, hello and welcome, everybody. This is your Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting, and today is July 17th, 2019. And it is such an exciting time to be here and really build your business and let it explode for you. I've got some stuff that I want to cover today. I know Mike's got a great presentation for us as well, and David Chase wanted to share with us. So David, I saw that you're on. If you want to star 6, the floor is yours, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Alana. Hey, everybody. I'm not on the screen, so I can't see anything. I just want to wish everybody a great week. I'm headed to the airport right now, so I can't stay on. I'm going to the Wealth Wave convention. Looking forward to seeing Mike and Alana and whoever else is going to be there. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you who decide to show up. I think it's going to be a great 2-day event. And when nobody else comes, we'll certainly report to you what went on. And that's really all I had to say. I'm sorry I can't make the rest of the meeting because I'm going to get in the car and heading to the airport. I'll see you all in Atlanta, Mike and Alana, and look forward to spending some time and some serious thoughts and putting this team in the best position we all can be in moving forward. Appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, and we're also really looking forward to the trip and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and through the weekend. So thank you so much, much appreciated. So I'll go ahead and mute out all the lines and we'll go ahead and get started. Perfect. So what I want to do now is I want to pull up the presentation that I put together and just go over just a few things really quickly before I bring Mike on. Again, Wednesday, July 17th, it's a really exciting time, the middle of the year, summertime. It's great to start to build momentum to really have, an amazing second part of the year. And if you have not learned about Linked Helper or LinkedIn Helper as we call it, definitely start to pay attention to this because this is going to really help you get out in front of a lot of people very quickly. And these are the types of responses that you're going to get. This was after I connected, I sent a welcome message, and then I sent my first value message. So this guy says, thanks for the thoughtful article. I haven't been in real estate for about 10 years. 2008 knocked me out, but I love it. He was a realtor, etc. So this let me open up a conversation. What do you do now? He wants to know what we're doing. I sent him some information versus how everybody else markets on LinkedIn. This is something that I got yesterday. Hi, I trust that you're doing great. There's a part-time job in your area. Visit the extension below to read more and apply. I mean, I'm not sure how many people he gets, actually doing this, but this is not a very good strategy, and this is how most people advertise on LinkedIn. So we want to stand out. We want to build relationships. We want to be different. We want to be better. So, just keep learning, right? Finding ways to improve yourself. You're in control. This is your life. This is your business. You're going to go at your own pace, and that's okay. I love this. This is society's advice versus the CEO's advice. Society's advice has these kinds of things in the bathroom. I couldn't believe this. This was a real thing that was in an employee bathroom. The employees must stop crying before returning to work. You could actually see like the soap and the bathroom background there. So it's pretty crazy. And I thought this was a pretty cool little meme. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you could see that there's a big difference in what society wants you to do and CEO's advice and how to build something. Anyways, and I love this little blurb here about caterpillars, that people talk about caterpillars becoming butterflies as though they just go into the cocoon and slap on wings and they're good to go. Nobody tells you that they actually have to dissolve into a disgusting pile of goo to become butterflies. So that was pretty interesting to me. So, I think we all have to kind of get broken down to build ourselves back up and learn and get better and build something from nothing. So, just really stick with it. It's definitely going to be worth it. So, and it's not all on you, right? It's about leveraging other people's time and talent. At first, it feels like it's just you, but as your team grows, you're going to really see that momentum pick up for your business. So I love this quote by John Wooden. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need a team. It's absolutely true. A few other things that I wanted to talk about that have come up a lot this week. We have a lot of people looking at annuities, and I just wanted to get you a little cheat sheet of what you need in order to get all the information that you need for yourself or for a client for an annuity. So they're going to need a name, a date of birth, or an age, state where this client resides, how much money are they looking to get options for. It has to be over $10,000. That's really, really a small, tiny one. Most are probably in the 50 to 100,000 range is probably the average, maybe even more than that. We're going to absolutely need to know, where the money is it qualified or non-qualified? So has this money been taxed or has it not been taxed? That's very important for the options, as well as how long can they tie up their money? Do they want to move it and instantly start pulling money? Is it an instant annuity? Is it a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 years? How long can they, tie up their money? And then what's their strategy? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to self-insure themselves and leave a legacy, leave this lump sum for their loved ones? Or are they trying to get income for life for themselves or themselves and their spouse? Or are they looking for growth? They just want to, make the most interest on the money. Or are they looking for multiple strategies? And then there's really two types of incentives that annuities have. They can get a bump on the front end, which is like on the lump sum, or they can get a bump on the income. I'm sure there are policies that have a little bit of both, but if we know what the client is looking for, all we need to do is gather this info. We can call together. They're actually going to make suggestions for us based on the information, and then they're going to send over the top two or three or four options with brochures for us to explore, get more information about. And people at Crump are amazing. They can even help us with Pacific Life, Nationwide, Transamerica, plus all of the other annuity carriers. They're really educated in what's on our platform, what's the newest and the best. So they're up to date on all of the newest stuff that's coming out. So when I called yesterday, we had a client looking for a 10-year. They said, well, in his situation, the 7-year with this company or this company is going to give him a bigger yield. So that's even, that's even better. So they're going to help us get the best options for that client. And then they can help with, how to do the contracting. They can even help you write the policy electronically step by step. Crump support is amazing. They've got 59 dedicated WFG employees that only service our platform. And I'm your person. I can help you with all of this. The other thing that's come up a lot this week has been delivery requirements. And these are the things that Transamerica or really any other company will need back for delivery requirements. So the signatures on whatever's needed are going to be compared and matched to the signatures on the ParaMed exam. So you would think that you don't have to tell people to sign the same way, but if the signatures look totally different, they're going to ask us to re-sign. The form numbers on the bottom of the page must be eligible. So if you have a printer that's cutting off that bottom form number, you need to print it or scan it upside down to get that form number. That's absolutely got to be on there. And then the date has to be in the correct range. I had a client date for 2014 instead of 2019, or if it was a really bad looking 9, they didn't take it. So you got to make sure that the date is correct. The agent signature and date are required, of course, and with all delivery requirements, you can upload to Transact. If it's a Transamerica, you can fax email to the underwriter or to new business, or you can send it to me, and I can help you. Anytime with any of this stuff, you can always reach out to me or your upline SMD, and we can help you. And I know we talked about the WFG site being under maintenance, but it looks like they actually moved the maintenance date to this weekend. And not only is the WFG going to be under maintenance, so is the WFG Transamerica portals. We talked about this, though. If you all want to write business, you can still go to premier.transamerica and then resources and IGO. If you need any help with that, let me know. But it looks like it's going to be only a short time from Friday night to early Monday morning, and we're going to be traveling anyways. So I think this is a good time for them to do a little update like this. And lastly, we're going to be available by phone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to be at this event. So if you need anything, reply times might be a little bit slower over the next 3 days just because we might be in meetings and things. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're still always here for you. Call, text, email. We'll get right back to you. And that's really all I have. I'm super excited to see Mike's presentation. So bear with me just for 1 second. Let me close mine down and let me go ahead and get him. Bear with me just for 1 second.
All right, you guys, we're in the middle of July. People are still taking vacations, which, always want to, enjoy your life while you can. This is a good time of the year to get out and do things. What you also have to realize is that once we get back to a normal schedule, people are back in school, people get back from the summertime vacations, things are going to really pick up for us. So our attendance live in this meeting is about 50% of what it usually is. So this is just a slow time of the year. Pulled up the library. That's where we're in today. They're always adding new stuff to here. Eventually you guys, when you become SVP and you have a organization of so many people, they'll build you a virtual office. Before that time, if you need to use any of those, the lounges, the boardrooms, anywhere that you want to meet, go ahead. Just pull those things up and use it as a temporary meeting place until you get an office built for yourself. So once again, this is the library. There's always going to be metrics of growth for your business. You always want to be looking at your numbers for your business. It's very, very important. So, we normally have a certain number of people that attend this live. We have a lot of people that access the recording just because it's Wednesday at a weird time. So one of the things I would like to do is get this up to 100 people plus live every Wednesday this time next year. So always look at not just certain things of your business, but see how you can improve the overall growth of your business. But remember, don't sacrifice quality for quantity. Having growth is one thing. Having good qualified growth is what's going to build your business. One of the things that we absolutely have to know as we're building agencies and offices is, number one, how the assembly line works. How does each person get paid in that transaction? And then secondarily, how do we read a statement? Remember, people are going to be wondering, what does this mean on my statement? What does this mean? How do I get paid? You've got to be able to answer that. That's part of eventually taking over an office, is being able to explain stuff like this. So it starts with you. Understand how you get paid, understand how you read your statements, and then, we're always here to help you guys if you have any questions, discrepancies, or, you just want to go through some training on that. Remember, the platform advantages, you have a huge opportunity to grow a business. So never discount what the WFG Transamerica platform offers us, because all of this stuff, if you were running a practice, a small business, you would have to take care of all this stuff on your own. It becomes a daunting task. Some stuff gets overlooked. And if you get overlooked stuff, for example, on the compliance end, that's a lot of fines potentially from not having the right paperwork. So there's a lot of things that you guys don't see in the background that gets taken care of for us. The reason I bring this slide up is if you're talking to somebody and they're an entrepreneur, business owner, they want to make that jump, people with vision, people should understand value. There's a significant value to what we have in the platform and what that offers. So make sure you understand that and make sure you're confident in what you're offering out there, because this is a turnkey operation. Stephen Filer made the CEO 10 Club. We recognize him in the Facebook group. He'll be recognized in the company meeting, but also we want to recognize him today. Remember, the CEO 10 Club, that's your first step. And you really want to look at that as a learning curve, kind of a badge of honor that you've been through a cycle of hires. You should know what's working, what's not working, and why it either worked or it didn't work once again. So you can always get that partner persona more detailed, more specific. That way you know exactly who you're looking for. And when you know who you're looking for, it's easier to find those people out on these platforms. Remember, the 12-week year, we're in between periods right now. The new 12-week year starts July 29th. If you guys are interested in participating, you either need to let us know via email or use the Facebook post to sign up. If this is your first time around, we can go through and do some prep meetings to help you kind of understand what goals are going to be good to choose, what goals are going to be bad to choose, what tactics and activity could lead up to that, how you develop a vision. All of this stuff's important. So if this is your first time around, we can help you. If this is your second, third time around, whatever, and you still want some help, by all means, let us know. That's what we're here for. And we'll post the links to the worksheets and other things in the Facebook group as we get a little closer. Also, you need to understand that in this environment, money is on the move. Not in this industry, but every single industry right now is being disrupted. Money's on the move. So money doesn't sleep, but it gets bored and starts to move around. And one of the ways that it moves around is through innovation. And I think if you guys really understand what we're doing, there's a lot of innovation here, and that innovation unlocks new value, and it allows us to take market share from a traditional model that was unable or unwilling to change in a timely manner. So what does that mean? Well, today on LinkedIn, I was looking for some engagement to do, and I found an article that somebody posted in, what's trending, that Domino's had one of its worst quarters since 2011 or 2012, and they attributed that some to Grubhub, Uber Eats, all of these apps that are coming out that are food delivery. It wasn't 10 years ago when Domino's introduced the pizza tracker. It was the most innovative thing brought to pizza delivery in a long, long, long time. So when you look at something like pizza, how can you change pizza? It's been around for a while. Well, you create more delivery processes. You create more measures in which you can look at metrics to improve the delivery of your product. So in 2009, the pizza tracker was introduced. You can see right about there what happened to the stock value. And you can also furthermore see that Domino's really became a technology company that happened to deliver pizzas. Well, now what's happened to Domino's is the innovator, the disruptor, is being disrupted. So you can't just sit at your business model and think that everything's okay. Even if you're getting out in front of other companies, you've got to push the pedal to the metal and continue to innovate, develop, and put things in a place so you extend your lead and don't get caught by your competition and passed up. And when you look at disruption, there's no bigger industry that when you look at that's being disrupted than insurance. It's been stale, stagnant. The business model is from the 50s. So when you look at the agency building side on financial services and insurance, it is ripe for disruption. We're on the forefront of that disruption, but you have to put things into place now that not only creates a pathway for yourself, but creates a pathway for your business partners. If you've got something that's working and you can share that, growth is quicker, bigger, and you're going to get to your goals, your partner's goals, and everybody's goals in a much quicker way. So understand that innovation tied to an industry this large, this stale, this stagnant is a huge opportunity for us. Basically, we're taking a face-to-face traditional style, and we're using the internet server to reach clients, to reach partners, to open up communication and conversation like never before in this industry. So when you see a picture like this, it's really not hard to understand. So when we're out there in the marketplace, we want to keep what we're doing simple, not get too wordy, not get too technical, make sure people are understanding in a clear, concise, simple way what exactly it is that we're doing. Bringing new tools. I mean, if I was a gold miner right now, do I want to whip out the pickaxe and the sluice that was homemade and the pan and all that? Or do I want to find out where I'm pretty sure the minerals, the gold, whatever it is that I'm looking for is located? It's a choice in this industry right now. What do you want to do? Do you want to go with an old way, or do you want to try to forge forward with a new way that's going to be the future for this industry, and an industry this long being disrupted? Once again, market share, money, there's a lot of it's going to be on the move in the next 5 to 7 years. You have a competitive advantage. You have the ability to go out and conquer the competition, and you've got a stairway or a roadmap to get you to a success. When you have a competitive advantage, you need to take advantage of that, and you need to really daily realize your competitive advantage and go out and seek opportunity through that advantage and help other people discover how they can do the same. It's not a question of enough. Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, it's a zero-sum game. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Money itself isn't lost or made. It's simply transferred. So when you look at that, we're taking on a huge industry. Big companies have dominated with a very stale model for decades. The digital environment has paved the way for us as entrepreneurs to take market share. Money transfer from traditional to digital and from producer to entrepreneur. You need to think big. If your goals are small, I'm not saying that, I'm not discounting those, but if you're coming in for the reason I came in to disrupt a very large industry, build a very large business, and affect the lives of both my partners, my clients in a very positive way, you give back from the surplus. That's one of the reasons why I want to make money. I got charitable causes, things I want to get behind, not a very materialistic person, but you can't give if you can't even take care of yourself. So if you're making 30 grand a year and spending 30 grand a year, you can't really give away. If you're making 300 grand a year and you're spending 75 grand a year, there's a lot of money to do a lot of good. So never forget the mission statement. It's not about you. It's not really about the money. It's about what you and that money as a tool can do for other people. Also, guys, as you're running people through training, you need to reinforce where they are. And that's one of the easiest ways to teach people something is through repetition. So when you look at this, if they're on tier 3, 4, 5, 6, make sure they understand where they are, what's happening in that tier. It's easier for them to start picking these steps up in these tiers and going out and starting to do that on their own. Remember, it may stroke your ego to have people, needing you every day, but it's not going to get you towards that independence that you're looking for that creates the financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, and time freedom. That starts with very basic stuff and doesn't get any more basic than saying, hey, this is where you are right now. This is where we're going to do. This is what we're going to do here. Does this make sense? The tier 1, remember, the tier 1 is the front door of your business. That's where all the activity starts. Doesn't matter, client, partner. That is the key to your business. That unlocks what can be potential partners, potential clients, revenue, growth, income. All of these things that we're looking for starts with a tier 1. And the tier 1 is simply just marketing. It's contacting on platforms, whatever it is that you're doing to advertise, paid or organically. This is, what you're doing in the tier 1. I don't know if you guys remember Billy Mays. He was the infomercial guy, OxyClean, kind of up in your face with his infomercials. But he started on a boardwalk, and he was saying that if you do sales on a boardwalk, you've got to find something to get a lot of people surrounding you in a very short period of time. They're not going to stick around while they're walking down the boardwalk to hear a long, drawn-out speech from you. So what you have to understand is, and these, I looked up Billy Mays infomercial scripts, and these are the first lines of, I don't know whatever number of scripts this is. Are you on your feet all day? Does the contact pounding causing your ankles, knees, and back to ache? A lot of people are going to say yes. I love beautiful wood, don't you? There's really only one way to grasp how advanced this is. That's to watch it in action. Are you fed up with trying? You guys can read through this. All you're trying to do is ask a question that most everybody will agree with, whether that's a positive or a negative. So do you like beautiful wood? Or I love beautiful wood, don't you? I hate stains, don't you? Do you hate paying taxes? All of these things can be clear, concise. Remember, on platforms, you have to get your message out as quickly as possible, as concise as possible, because really what people are looking at is pictures, and then they've got maybe a second or two to really grab their attention with the combination of the picture and the verbiage. So remember, as you're opening conversations, you want to get as many people into that conversation as possible. You lead in with a question that most people would agree with you on. Tier 1, we talked about this. This is the open, the open to the funnel. That gets things going. That's your marketing. That could lead to an ABC call where we help discover if it's a potential partner, potential client, or neither. And now you have the pivot. So what we try to do for the marketers is if you're creating a lead, we try to work with you to extract as much value out of that lead as we possibly can. That's where the pivot comes in. Now, the pivot is a very important piece because you can run your consultants ragged, and them, as well as you, cannot make money. Then everybody's going to be upset. So you have to understand what's a good pivot and what's not. So if you're talking to or somebody, the manager is interviewing through the ABC, and we discover that this person has a successful business, it's going well, it's growing, they understand what we're doing, they like it, but they just don't have the hours to commit. That is a perfect pivot to a client. Now, if you get down there and the reason they're not qualified is because a number of variable reasons, but also because they don't have $200 to open up their own business, they haven't been employed for 9 months, and they don't have any prospects for anything right now, that's not a good pivot. That could be something that could be revisited in the future if they get their short-term income and cash flow rectified. But to send that over to consultant and have a consultant spend an hour on a tier 3, an hour on a tier 5, and nobody make any money, it's a waste of time. So understand and evaluate, okay, on the partner side, is it a good or a bad fit for both sides? If you bring in good fits, it's going to work out. If you get, if you violate your parameters and your persona, you start bringing the wrong people, just put a number on the board, it's going to be, there's going to be a grind for you. And then out of that, if we look at the ABC pivot, is it a good pivot or a bad pivot? If you bring in good partners and you pivot good potential clients over, it's going to be a smooth running operation. If you just jam that with whatever that you possibly can just to say that you have activity, no money is going to be made out of this, no traction is going to be made out of this, and everybody's just going to be wasting their time. So do good for yourself and do good for the rest of the assembly line, and everything will run smoothly as it should. Remember, setting up the hiring process, no matter what you're doing, this is a hiring process. And I use hiring over recruiting now because recruiting just seems like we take everybody with a breath and a pulse. And a lot of companies in network marketing stuff, they do that. You don't get paid to bring people into this organization. You get paid to set up digital agencies that will be successful. So when you look at, for example, somebody coming back and says, well, I'll think about it. I'll let you know if I want to join. No, wait. You let me think about it if you want to go through the interview process. They have to be hired. As soon as you adopt that mindset, this whole process of advertising, talking, evaluating becomes a lot easier because you're in a position of power as somebody hiring rather than somebody out there asking for people to come in an organization. And always evaluate your hires to find out what's working, what's not working, and why, so you get better at what you do. Remember, also, people are going to be coming in, and they're surrounded by seasoned entrepreneurs, industry veterans, successful people that can help grow and develop others, their business, and we get paid to do that. People with vision understand the advantage of coming in and having someone help build their business. If it's a part-time entrepreneur, if they're at work, things need to get done, they're done. Clients are closed, partners are trained, CRM is updated with notes. There's a definite advantage of that versus coming in, signing up, throwing you out there and say, good luck, check in with me once or twice a week. Never forget the advantages that we have. Build them in terms of a list and keep them clear, concise, but understand you've got a lot to offer people. And that kind of takes us to the fix or the growth mindset. The things that we're talking about, competitive advantage, innovation, being able to have somebody else help grow your agency. People with a growth mindset look at those things as a positive. People with a fixed mindset look at those things as a negative. So one of the things that you need to make sure that you do, understand how to read people. Is this person somebody with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Because fixed is really hard in an opportunity like this to come in and be successful. You've got to have a growth mindset. You've got to be an opportunist. You've got to be positive. All of these things that we look for in people, the other side is the exact opposite, and that's what you want to avoid. Knowledge is the new currency. I fully believe that because right now, if you're a big company, you can't just spend a lot of money acquiring other companies and thinking that's going to work out. Same thing in social media advertising. Even if you have money, you can't just go into social media and start advertising and expect that to work out. So knowledge is a new currency. The more knowledge you gain, the more you're going to have the ability to impact your business, your partner's business. And it really, this right here, guys, I know that we get accustomed to the new environment that we're in over the last 15, 20 years, but really the Google search bar is an amazing entry point to whatever you want to learn. And then furthermore, on the YouTube site, you can search for whatever you want to do. You want to use Facebook Messenger as a lead generation source, you can look it up. Look up articles, you can look up videos. So never forget, the more you learn, the more you earn, and the more you learn, the more you can teach other people, the more they're going to earn, and the bigger business that you can grow, which means you're servicing partners, you're servicing clients, and you're getting your mission statement fully intact. So this is how you get ahead and attract top talent. You have something to offer them. Learn as much as you can and teach others. People will be attracted to someone who they believe can lead them to success. When you're out there, you've got things to offer that people are attracted to, and they think that you can lead them. The quality of the conversation, the quality of the prospect starts to go through the roof. All right, so in VF Contact Manager, a couple things I wanted to show you guys. If you're setting up, for example, an interview call with a manager, or you're running a team and you're actually doing the interview process on LinkedIn, if you're using it, over here at the profile under More, when you click on that, you can actually save that profile to a PDF. And then in our CRM system, down at the very bottom, there's something called Files, Images, and Audio. When you click on that, it will open up, and you can put files. Anything that's a PDF, you should be able to insert it there. That will help you grow your business. It will also help you manage your partners and get into a constant rhythm of activity where as much information is being provided going into a call so we don't fly blind. The more information we have, better that call is going to go. And it doesn't matter, resumes, LinkedIn profiles, F&As, quotes, illustrations. If it's a PDF, you can upload it to a file. So this can be good for client or partner files. We went over this last week, but I just want to make sure that you guys know if you're using LinkedIn Helper, this is how we're evaluating. You got the invitations that you're sending every day. We use the thank you messages as a metric for what we used to say the intro. Now, if you're not using LinkedIn Helper, you still want to count that intro. But the thank you messages, they actually start the pipeline of communication that will get you to business, product, all these things. And then once again, the tier activity over here is not based on who does it. It's based on who it belongs to. So, for example, a tier 3, if I do it, it belongs to Alana. It counts for Alana and not me. So that's just direct activity. And then on LinkedIn Helper, guys, the only thing that you have to master and understand is 3 steps. Steps 1, collect, select, and invite. Step 2, thanks for the connection. And step 3, get them into a cycle of communication that's got value messages, business messages, product messages, and it can be continuous as you go forward as you set up more communication and messages. So once you understand the kind of vision of what this can do for you and understand how it builds over time, this is going to be a great organizational tool for you guys, because the other way, I can't keep up with what I sent, when I send it. It's just too hard. Step 3 is the one that's probably going to give you guys the most questions. And really all we're doing is you have to know what's the source. Where am I pulling people from? And then where am I sending them to? So for example, what I was doing here is I want to look up my entrepreneur list, and I want to look up everybody that I've sent thank you messages to. And then, it's going to have this. You highlight this, and then over on the other side for the target, where do I want to send these 555 people? I want to send them over to my value-based one message. And now, when you look at this, look at the target, and then on the next one, you can see now I'm using that, what was my target, as my source. The next time around, I'm going to say, okay, everybody I've sent value 1 message to, now I'm going to send value 2. The next time the source can be value 2, business, product, and then I can take that business or that product message 30, 60, 90 days later, bring those people back up and get back in front of them. So this is going to allow you guys, like a file cabinet, put files in, organize, and really stay in front of people. And that's really the key to building these relationships. The reason that we're so heavy into LinkedIn is because we go where the numbers show us to go. And LinkedIn has an 11 times better response rate compared to other methods. Those LinkedIn messages that you're sending, those get read. I can't say 100%, but I'm in the high 90s for which ones I read. So this is a great way to get in front of people. It's a better way than, a lot of the other traditional methods that people still try to use. Remember, engage your target audience, whether it's on a platform like LinkedIn. You can target professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners, accountants, attorneys. It's all going to be professionally based. On a platform like Facebook, you can dive into more demographics, age, sex, all of these other things that you may use to target an audience that's very, very unique and specific. So always remember, the better that you can get at building an audience, a specific audience, and talking to that specific audience in a way that speaks directly with them, you have a better chance of opening up meaningful conversations. So what are you looking for? Just keep it simple. So what are the pain points? Part of what we do in our advertising is to help people discover pain points. Why are you not being successful? Why are you not setting yourself up correctly for the future, whether it's partner or client? But part of that is also, walking that fine line. Yeah, we're uncovering those power or pain points and digging into that, but we're also being empathetic as well. So you're seeing it from other people's point of view, listening with the ears of another, feeling with the heart of another. That's going to allow you to build a warmer relationship. So yes, we're digging down the pain points. We're also empathetic about the situation. And I saw this, or somebody described this on Shark Tank the other day. I need your information and your stories to be laid out in a Sesame Street simple format. Kind of rang true with me because we get a little wordy sometimes, a little technical. Keep it simple. Explain to people in a clear, concise, simple way what it is that you're doing and why it is that you want to talk to them. The blueprint for success, if you come up with something that works, teach other people how to do the same, you got an unlimited growth opportunity. You just got to get into something that works for you and then be able to repeat that for other people. We're still early in this business growth cycle. You still got an excellent opportunity to lay down roots here. And when this goes viral and we have exponential growth, you're going to have the platform, but you're also going to have your infrastructure that you've set up to help absorb that. Social media is a big part of what we do, and we need to embrace social media. We need to embrace digital marketing, even if it scares us a little bit in the beginning. It seems confusing, overwhelming, and a little bit hard and tough. Just understand that through the process of doing anything, you get better out of it. So to build your social media strategy, you're going to have to explain each social media strategy. Why am I using this channel? What is it good for? And what am I trying to do? The impact of listening and engagement. Develop a content strategy that works. Be able to identify metrics, key performance indicators, metrics, numbers, or how you understand if things are working or they're not. That's why in the activity sheets and everything that we try to do, we always want you guys to keep up with numbers because that's going to allow you to say things are going well, things are not going well, and regardless going well or not going well, you can revisit the numbers and figure out pretty quickly what's happening. And then finally, how to integrate social media into your other inbound efforts. You're weaving a web of information about you, your business, your product, whatever it might be, where people can go from one point to another point to another point, but they're all visiting things that you set up for yourself. You need to understand where your audiences are. So if you're building landing pages out there and you're doing advertisements and you haven't tested to see what it looks like on mobile and it looks terrible, people are going to jump off that very, very, very quickly. So understand, if you're running ads, where are most of my audience picking up those ads? If it's on the mobile, you need to make sure it looks right. You need to make sure it's optimized. And you got to realize, these phones are always with us. If we lose them, we're desperately looking for them. So this is an excellent opportunity to get in front of somebody on a device that they always have right in front of them. This is a huge opportunity. You go back 25, 30 years and compare it to what we have right now. The data that you can gather, the people that you can talk to, and the conversations that you can open up nationwide is just an unbelievable opportunity. There are leads out there galore. Also, I know this is pretty shocking, but 75 to 90% of your ads' overall performance is going to be attributed to the images that you use. So the picture of the image is going to be most of your ads. So if you have a terrible image and you've got great content or an advertisement there, it's probably going to fail. I know on Facebook advertising right now, about 80% of the effectiveness of the ad is attributed to the picture. So if you're running ads, make sure that picture jumps off the page, makes sense, captures people's attention. Also, you need to recognize that if you're running ads or you're building things that are going to be running ads for, the difference in how people approach platforms. Facebook is interest. People go there to flip through, look at things. People go to Google with a specific intent. They're typing in something they want to learn from. So you need to understand how different platforms operate, why people go to those platforms. So when you advertise there, it makes sense. Paid marketing, there's a lot of opportunity here, and that just always goes back to numbers. If you're running an operation, running a marketing campaign, and the return on investment, cost of acquisition of a client, the value of that client all makes sense, it's easier to scale that operation. If you're putting $1,000, $2,000 a month into Facebook advertising, and it's returning 7, 8, 9, 10 grand, most people would say, yeah, let's repeat that next month, or even let's go more. If you don't know what your ads are getting, it's impossible to know if it's working, if it's effective, and if you want to repeat that ad or dump it. Improving your relevance score with your advertisements. You need to be specific with your targeting. You need to create ads that resonate with your audience. You need to pay attention to how long your ad's been running. Remember, ads get stale like everything else. Sometimes you have to go back and revisit it, change a couple of things. Align your content offer with your ad. If your ad says one thing and the targeted landing page, website, wherever you're sending them to is completely different, it's going to destroy your ad. And finally, test, test, test. The only way you're going to find things that work is to test things and get rid of the things that don't work. Analyze your competition. I'm not talking about necessarily in insurance and financial services. That's fine. But when you look at digital marketing as an industry, when you're looking for your Facebook or, anything that you're on, what's grabbing your attention and why? And make some notes so that when you start to build advertisements for yourself, you've got a nice journal or a log that says, what's working, what's not working, what you think will work for your own situation. Also, if you want to get engagement going, if you want to get people interested in what, you're doing out there, sometimes it can be as simple as asking a question. So either or, one of the first things I saw on LinkedIn when I joined, this lady had a book and she put out 4 book covers and asked which one looks better. There were tens of thousands of responses there. So sometimes just asking for an opinion from the others spurs them. Everybody loves to give you their opinion. So questions, polls, all of these things can spur on engagement. As you're out there, frame everything you do, whether you're talking about an opportunity or product. Client or the partner needs to understand why you're approaching them. When you frame your conversation correctly, it makes it a lot easier for both sides. We're looking for someone who has a reason to do something on the client or the partner side. That's why we're expanding. We've got tools, strategies, vehicles that people don't know about. They should, that can really make a difference in their life. When you're asking for referrals, frame the conversation. What I put in front of you today, does it make sense? Do you think it's going to dramatically help the trajectory of your financial future going forward? If so, can you put me in front of other people that possibly need this help as well? If you frame the conversation to help other people understand why you're asking or why you're going forward in a certain way, it becomes a lot easier. Set up the conversation to lead to a yes result for the videos. Now, not a yes result pushing people in this company, but a yes result in getting people to explore what you have to offer. Remember, when you're out there, people are struggling. We're not trying to uncover if financial literacy is a problem. It's a big, big problem. So people have financial problems. Our company helps solve those problems. Business, product, or both. Education comes to both our partners as well as our clients. And things like the rule of 72 does not work with negative numbers. So if you're in a retirement asset or a vehicle or whatever it is with market exposure, and you're trying to forecast growth over a 10, 15, 20-year period, it's almost 100% probability that during those times we're going to be hit with corrections, bear markets, crashes. That destroys that projection. When you take the market losses out and you are able to effectively look forward and saying, okay, on this rate of return, this many years in the future, I'm expecting to have this. Also, living benefits is a big part of what we do. So when you're talking to, it's the crusade for the client side of our business. If you are able to get passionate about what you do, people will feel that. Not only your advertising, when you talk to them over the phone, and they'll be drawn to that. What are the percentage chances from age X to age Y that a chronic or critical will happen? It's pretty big in today's society. So what does that look like today if it happened yesterday? So if Mr. Client had a heart attack yesterday, and he's the sole proprietor, or he owns a practice or a small business, what does it look like for the business today, for the family today, for our income, our wealth? A lot of times it's going to be just a cascade of negative effects that can lead to bankruptcy, foreclosure, business filings. You're here to help people. So we are expanding to make sure people have access to this information, to these tools, these vehicles they probably didn't know existed. Because really, when you look at this, and I know we talk about this a lot, but there's 3 possibilities that happen. Die young, get sick or get hurt, live long life. There's 3 things when you're planning for the future that you need to understand. How long is it going to take? How taxes are going to affect me? And the market risk. From both sides, protection and accumulation, those are really what we're looking at. So when you break things down simplistically, helps you and the other side understand. And on living benefits, it's not really hard to understand. We're not talking about if you have a heart attack in the future, if you have cancer in the future on the client side. If you had cancer or heart attack yesterday, what do things look like? Well, in the financial plan, you've got income, you've got expenses, you've got debt, credit, assets, all of these things. What happens if the income dries up for a period of time? Most American families cannot withstand an income disruption for very long. Some will feel it within a week, 10 days. Most everybody would feel it within a 6-month period of time. What we have is products, vehicles that offer bridges of capital to secure that standard of living and make sure that these events, don't disrupt the rest of the life. On the retirement side, we have a solution. If people are willing to work for it, they don't have to be an expert in financial services. They don't have to be a consultant. They can come in and be a marketer. And we use this as an example, but if you've got somebody and they've got 16 years until they turn 65, and they're making $72,000 a year right now, and they are spending about $72,000 a year right now, and they have nothing saved up, what's the possibility or probability in the next 16 years they'll be able to save up $2 million to replace that income? Well, leading indicators show this is going to be probably almost a 0% chance unless something dramatically changes. Now, if they're willing to work for it, what's the possibility they can come in as a marketer and inviter with our help, set up a business that pays them $6,000 a month in 16 years? Very, very probable. In a matter of a few years, very, very probable. So understand that a lump sum for a lot of people to draw off of is not really a feasible retirement solution. Even if it was, that money doesn't last as long as we think it probably would. Whereas the real retirement solution is to produce cash flow that doesn't end at a certain point. It continues on. So the retirement solution is not only on the client side, but also the partner side as well, if they view this as a new retirement solution. Create a daily routine that includes income-producing activities. If you're out there looking for the greatest meme, spend 15, 20 minutes doing research, posting, it gets 2 likes and a share. Is that really a good use of your time? No. Yes, you have the activity. Your social media engagement will build over time, but concentrate on what you want to do. And what you want to do is, if you want more, you got to do more. Not just, ineffective, indirect activity, but direct income-producing activities. Do the uncomfortable stuff. That's where the money comes from. So your partners, yourself, your clients, all of these people, we can all make excuses or we can make it happen. One of 2 things is going to win out, either your goals or your excuses. And for a lot of people, it's going to be the excuses. So when you're working with partners or you're evaluating yourself over periods of time, what's happening? If things aren't going well, evaluate from multiple angles, including take self-inventory. Personal obstacles are usually a big reason why people aren't successful in life. I'm not going to read through the list, but if you have a lack of something or you have things going on in your life that are self-sabotaging and putting up barriers, walls that aren't getting you to your end goals, and every once in a while, take self-reflection, try to fix these things. Any time in your business, whether you've been here a week, month, year, or more, you want to evaluate what's going on in your overall business and look at it from an investor's point of view. An investor came in, what's going on with your business right now? Are you in a downtrend? Are you kind of flatlining? Are you in an uptrend? In this environment, with this business opportunity, everyone should always be growing. If you're not growing, you're contracting, and you should be expanding, not dying. So the flat line or the downtrend, recognize that and do things to improve that. If it's direct to you, if it's your base shop, or if it's franchises that you're building, make sure you're understanding and evaluating what's going on so you can help before it gets too far along the lines and we can't really fix it. 0. So if you've got 0 cash flow, you got 0 partners. For me, what I did when I first came into this business, it took us a while to get this thing going. It was a different time then, a different company, but Alana and I would always come back and review and say, this is not acceptable. How do we change this? How do we get better at what we do? I'm not saying beat yourself up, but realize if you're not getting any results, you don't want to continue down that path. You want to kind of draw a line in the sand and say, okay, what's happening? How do I make money? How do I change this so that the partners coming in are better, the clients that I'm attracting are more worthy of the consultant's time? And if you honestly take time to reflect, take self-inventory, and promise yourself that things are going to get better, when you hold yourself to those promises, it builds self-confidence, allows you to become a better marketer, manager, consultant, but more so a leader as well. Back to basic, guys. If you're building an organization, the franchise all of this starts with three. 3 qualified direct partners coming in a month should start to pour that fuel and that fire that leads to an office, a base shop being built, that starts to have 10 base shop growth per month. That will start to get people to the point where they're going outside your office and doing their own offices. So from that direct partner build out of 3 leads to base shop growth, and eventually it leads to your franchise growth. Just keep it simple. Don't get overwhelmed by the entirety of everything we do. Just know that what you have to do is use that formula, 3 directs in the beginning, to build a little core group around you of 7 to 10 that really understand this, are willing to work for it, that you like being around, and that you're willing to put some time, energy, resources in to help make them happen. 7 to 10 partners will spur exponential growth. I'll promise you. Now, depending on how tight your partner persona is, how well your manager is doing at interviewing, you can have to go through a lot of people to get through this or less. You might have to get through 35, 40 people to get here, or you could have to get through 60, 70, 80 to get here. You want to make sure that you're hiring the right people. It's okay to bring in no one than a no one. That's really important for you guys to understand. So that is all we have for today. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We will be at the Green Carpet Day over the next few days. Return to normal schedule over the weekend, and then definitely back to normal schedule on Wednesday. Hope you guys are enjoying the summer. Definitely take time to be with your family, your friends, be outside for the nice weather, but ultimately understand we're coming around a sweet spot for the year, and that is going to be a big growth time for you guys.
Wow, another great presentation by Mike Amos. Thank you so much, Mike. I really got a lot out of that. So what I'll do is I'll stop the recording, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. Thank you.